Hello, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn about similarities and dissimilarities between SQL and Pig. Let's understand some fundamentals of Pig Latin. Pig Latin is procedural, where SQL is declarative. Pig Latin allows pipeline developers to decide where to checkpoint data in the pipeline. Pig Latin allows the developer to select specific operator implementations directly rather than relying on the optimizer. Pig Latin supports splits in the pipeline. Pig Latin allows developers to insert their own code almost anywhere in the data pipeline. Pig Latin is procedural and SQL on the other hand is declarative. Let's understand it by an example. Consider for example a simple pipeline where data from sources, users and clicks is to be joined and filtered and then joined to a data from a third source called GeoInfo and aggregated and finally stored into a table called valuable clicks per DMA. In SQL, this could be written as shown here. So in the inner query, we are joining the sources, users and clicks, and then in the outer query, we are joining them with GeoInfo and finally storing the results into valuable clicks per DMA. And the same thing can be written in Pig as shown here. Look at the relations here. Look how SQL forces the pipeline to be written inside out with operations that need to happen first happening in the from clause subquery. This could be resolved with the use of intermediate or temporary tables. Then the pipeline becomes a disjointed set of SQL queries where ordering is only apparent by looking at a master script that sews all the SQL together. Also, depending on how the database handles temporary tables, there may be cleanup issues to deal with it. In contrast, Pig Latin shows users exactly the data flow, without forcing them to either think inside out or construct a set of temporary tables and manage how those tables are used between different SQL queries. The pipeline given in SQL is obviously simple. It consists of only two very simple steps. In practice, data pipelines at large organizations are often quite complex. If each Pig Latin script spans 10 steps, then the number of scripts to manage in source control, code maintenance, and the workflow specification drops by an order of magnitude. There are some keywords in Pig Latin which work similar to what we see in SQL world. In Pig Latin, filter is quite similar to where clause in SQL. The syntax is different, but conceptually this is similar to SQL where clause, where we are filtering data based on some conditions. Since filter is done in a separate step from a group or aggregation, the distinction between having and where does not exist in Pig. Order keyword behaves pretty much the same in Pig as in SQL. In Pig, joins can have their execution specified and they look a little different. But in essence, these are the same joins you know from SQL. And you can think about them in the same way. All joins are supported by Pig. Dissimilarities. Group. Everything in SQL is a row. The grouping created is not persistent. Only the data produced aggregating over it remains. Subquery reuse. In Pig Latin, every step has a declared alias. Reusing subquery tables is natural and intuitive, and generally does not involve building them twice. UDF. Pig's list of built-in functions is growing, but is still very lesser than what Oracle or MySQL provides. So what Pig does, it allows the user to define aggregate or analytics functions in other language like Java, Python, and then apply them in Pig quickly without any issue. Here are some examples which show how Pig Latin syntax varies from SQL queries. Look at the examples for selecting queries, running distinct functions, in SQL and Pig running aggregate functions. Look how we can perform joins in Pig, performing union operations. I hope this lecture have given you enough idea about how SQL and Pig Latin varies. It's time to start practicing. Go and play around Pig Latin on your machine. We will see Pig Latin in action in our Pig demo lecture. That's all for this lecture. See you in the next one.